Hey everybody, my name is Nate. I'm a master electrician with Jackpine Electric here in Calgary, Alberta, and today I'm going to show you how to change out a receptacle, or more commonly referred to as a plug. These are the tools and material that you'll need for this job. I'll link everything in the description below. So first up, we're going to take our Klein plug tester, plug it into the old plug. We're going to check for the voltage. Nominal voltage is 120 volts, but as long as we're in 114 to 126 range, we should be good. If your voltage readings are lower than 114 or higher than 126, call an electrician because there's a deeper issue. So before we change out this plug, we are going to turn the power off to the circuit. Now, there are a few ways you can do that. What I'm going to use is a circuit breaker finder by Klein. Again, there's links in the description for all this stuff. We're going to make sure that we have a strong signal, and then we're going to go down to our panel. Usually I would remove the panel cover to do this, as you get a bit of a stronger signal doing it that way. But if you're a homeowner, I would not recommend doing that. So use the wand on the outside of the breakers until you come across one that is either flashing red or beeping faster than the others. Looks like that's the one. We'll turn it off. And of course, upstairs, the plug tester side will also go off. If you don't have one of these circuit breaker finders, you can use a lamp and just turn the breakers off one by one. To get the plate off, we're going to use a flat blade screwdriver. If you don't have one of these retractable screwdrivers, they're an awesome, cheap little piece of kit that it definitely comes in handy to have around the house. Once the plate screw is off, you may need to get the plate a light tap with your screwdriver, as sometimes the plate sticks to the old paint. Then we're going to retract our flat blade and bring out our Robertson bits on the screwdriver to remove these screws. There are screws on the top and on the bottom. When you're removing the old plug, notice how I'm holding it here. You do not want to grab it from the sides, because if the power is accidentally on, this is a way you'll get shocked. So grab from the top and bottom and just pull it out. And to be extra safe, we're going to grab our voltage tester. This is the one I like to use. I will link the Klein one in the description. The reason I like this is it has a flashlight, which really does come in handy, and also has the voltage tester. You're going to hold the tip right up to the wire. Make sure it stays green. If the wire is live, it would look like this and sound like this. I turn the breaker back on here for demonstration purposes, but of course I'm going to turn it back off before we start disconnecting these wires. Now that we've confirmed that there are no wires that are still live here, we're going to loosen the terminal screws on the side of the plug. These screws hold the wire in place, so once they're loose, we can take the wire off. You're going to repeat this step for the white wire and for the bond wire, or commonly referred to as a ground wire. Once the plug's been removed, we'll start cleaning up the wire a little bit. We're using these Milwaukee wire strippers. These things are great. They go all the way up to number 8 wire solid. They have very robust snips. 832, 632 bolt cutters. And the best part, they replace linesmen in most cases because of the thick ends that these things have. Very robust, would not recommend any other stripper out there. So we cut off the hooks at the end of the wire. Don't cut too far back. You just want to take off the very end of the copper that's exposed. And the reason we're doing this is in a few moments, we will be restripping the wire so we can make sure that we don't have any nicked wires from previous electricians or homeowners that may have stripped this wire before and just did a careless job. Now at this point, we're just going to check to make sure that our bond wire is actually terminated under the screw in the box. For this case, there's 2 sets of cables coming in, so there should be 2 bond wires, one that's already sticking out of the box and one in the far right back there, but has been cut short. That's perfectly fine. We only need 1 bond wire for our plug. From here, you're going to straighten out the wire, as it makes it easier to strip it. On your wire strippers, you're going to have different numbers. We're using a number 14. In some parts of the States, you may be using number 12 gauge wire. In Canada, where we're from, that's usually reserved for a 20 amp circuit, which this is a 15 amp circuit. So you're going to strip each one of the wires back. The insulation on some of the older wire could be a little bit sticky, especially if a lot of power has been going through the plug or the circuit in general. Once you have the white stripped, you'll do the black as well. From here, we'll take some scrap wire and cut it about this length, and then we'll strip both sides of that as well. We'll also make one for a white wire. If you don't have scrap wire, you can skip this step. Up next is our connectors. This is a Wago. These are by far the best type of connectors on the market, and they're extremely user-friendly, so they come in handy for a homeowner doing DIY. They have little clips on them, and essentially you open the clip, put the wire in, and then clip them shut. Make sure to do a tug test afterwards to ensure that the wire has a solid connection. And then we'll go ahead and put the black pigtail Wago onto the black wires coming out of the box. Now again, all of this material is listed down in the description, including the Wagos and the plugs that we're using. So do the same thing, but for the white wire. And once you've done that, you can start pushing the wire back into the box, making sure that the only wire that's sticking out is the pigtails and the bond wire. Now onto the new plug. We are using Leviton Edge. Instead of having terminal screws like the old plugs do, these new Leviton Edge plugs have clips on the side, similar to the Wago connections. Again, a very, very solid connection and also user-friendly. Now, if you didn't want to make the Wago pigtail connections we made, you could simply just put 2 black wires under the 2 black clips, 2 white wires under the white clips. It is much less likely that you're going to have a plug burn up, however, if you only have one wire feeding the plug. Just like the Wago connections, you want to make sure you do a tug test on these guys. And I forgot to mention the green clip on the side is actually for your bare copper bond or ground, whatever you want to call it. These Leviton Edge plugs are designed to be used with oversized plates, but if you have the standard plates, you can take the tab off the top. I'm doing this one for demonstration purposes. There is also a tab on the bottom to make the plugs a little bit shorter. They come off pretty easy, but my suggestion, just get the oversized plates, again, linked in the description, and then you won't have to deal with this. We take our handy screwdriver and we're going to tighten down the screws on the bottom and on the top. If you're going to take a level to the plug, this is the time to do it. I'm just eyeballing this one as it's in my own home. We're going to take a cover plate, put it on there. Doesn't that look clean? Tighten up the top screw and the bottom screw of the new Decora cover plates, always making sure that the screw holes are up and down. Final step is to take our plug tester and to confirm the voltage. That looks good. So that's how to replace a plug. Like and subscribe for more.